This is Algebra 1, Lesson 8C, examples 8.3, 8.4, and 8.5. Find the areas of these triangles. Dimensions are in inches. We know that area is equal to base times height divided by 2. Because again, this triangle is half of this rectangle. So that's why we're dividing it by 2. We're taking half of it. So area is equal to 4 times 3 divided by 2, which is equal to 12 divided by 2, which is equal to 6. And these measurements are in inches, and inches times inches would be inches squared. So your answer is 6 square inches. Here again, we have area is equal to base times height divided by 2. Our base is 4, and it is inches, and our height is 3. It's really obvious here that you need to use the 3, but in some problems, they may label the other sides. And if they label the other sides with other numbers, you've got to know, oh wait, I can't pick the slanted one for my height, right? Here they make it obvious for you. So this is going to be equal to 12 divided by 2, which is 6. And again, we've got square units, so inches squared. C, area is equal to base times height divided by 2. The base here is 4. It's not including this extension because that's not part of the triangle. So the base here is 4. The height is perpendicular to the base, so that's 3. 4 times 3 is 12, divided by 2 is 6, and that's square inches. Example 8.4. Find the area of this right triangle. Dimensions are in feet. Now they spun it around a little bit here for me. The tendency for most students is to use whatever the triangle is sitting on as the base. But the problem would be we don't know the height. We need a perpendicular height here. And since we do not know that, we cannot use the 10 as the base. So you can kind of spin it around in your mind, and you can imagine it sitting it on this side. Then 6 would be your base. Which would be your height? The 10 or the 8? Well, if you use 6 as the base, we need the perpendicular height to that base. So if you use 6 as the base, you would need to use 8 as the height. Now you could also use 8 as the base. And if you use 8 as the base, imagine spinning that around and it's sitting on the 8, then our perpendicular height to that would be 6. You can see you would get the same answer either way. So let's use the 6 as our base. And I'll just mark that as a base. And then that would mean that the 8 is our height. We know that area is equal to base times height divided by 2. Our base we're going to use is 6. Our height that's perpendicular to that base would be 8. And then we'll divide it by 2. 6 times 8 is 48. Divided by 2 is 24. And they told us that these dimensions are in feet. So this was feet times feet, which is equal to square feet. So our answer would be 24 square feet. Our next example is example 8.5. Find the area of this figure. Corners that look square are square. That means they're perpendicular. They're letting us know those are 90 degrees. This does not look square. This does not look square. Okay, and normally I tell you don't go by how it looks, but they're telling us here too. Dimensions are in yards, so that's what our measurement's going to be in. Now, we can think about, we know about figures that have 90-degree angles, and if we would drop a perpendicular here, okay, to where that's perpendicular, then we end up with this nice rectangle here, and then we end up with this nice triangle right here. Okay, and we can break those up and find their area and then add them together. Now we have to be careful here. This 10 is this whole distance. This 6 is this distance. So we're really not going to look at the 10 to find the area of this rectangle. The area of here is length times width, which would be 6 times 4. So the area of the yellow rectangle is 24 square yards. Yards times yards. Now let's deal with this triangle. Well, we need to figure out this little piece right here. If the whole thing is 10 and this piece here is 6, can you figure out what this piece is? When you add it to 6, you should get 10. So it is 4. We also need this perpendicular height here, which should be the same as that side opposite of it, right? So that means this is going to be 4. So the area of the triangle would be base times height divided by 2. So that's going to be the base is 4 and the height is 4, and we're going to divide it by 2. 16 divided by 2 is 8. And again, these were in yards. Yards times yards would give me square yards. So I know that the yellow rectangle is 24 square yards, and the orange triangle is 8 square yards. And I can add those together and I get 32 square yards. And that is the area of the entire figure when you add them together.